romantic. I'm going to give your father a surprise dinner tonight, and I want everything to be perfect.
Why aren't you eating from the TV?
Yeah. Why don't you go get your suitcase? Randy, come on, move it.
Well, I don't know how many people are in here. Nobody's in here yet, so we are going to do this again. Let's get this thing on there.
Jennifer, I didn't know.
Hi. Yeah, I'm playing football. Maybe I'll put that. That's great. Jennifer Punch.
Somebody's in here. Who's in here? And can you see me and hear me? Should be all the way up. That was quick. The sooner I get on, why is this rotate device thing on? I hate when something's right in the middle of the, and it won't go away. It just stays there. I don't like doing it the other way because it doesn't show up widescreen on the on YouTube. I don't know why it's doing this. I've been doing the rotate device, but it's not doing it. Every time I put it back this way, it disappears, but when I put it back the other way, it reappears. I don't like the little film line thing when I'm down uploading the video. I think it's annoying as hell. Now this ain't working. Come on. Nothing like a tripod that don't want to work properly. Man, now it's too big, right? I know, but I'm trying to get it attached to the tripod first before it falls the heck off. It's not an updated tripod, it's an older one. Yeah, of course, not centered. Let's see if I can raise it up a little bit.
I'm listening to a little,
Okay. Well, that's better.
I'll be waiting. Bye-bye.
I figured nobody else is doing a live, so, you know, I mean, the other day when I did the live, it took like 2 days for it to upload. It said something about, like, comments are not validated because it's private. I didn't put anything private. Why? So everybody can see my fat gut? Oh, finally I got that fire going, man. It's actually snowing here, believe it or not. I see nose up. Really? All right. How about that?
Hey, looks like you planned something special.
Yeah.
Put together a little dinner for the. Hey, where are the kids?
See, that's why I don't like this thing. It's not working properly. It's not doing what I want it to do.
Oh,
Yeah, so we could have
Hey, what's up, Jason? I just figured, you know, nobody's actually. Oh, you know what? I gotta get my coffee. I'll be right back. Give me a second, guys.
sorry, but the guys and I had some real serious discussions about relationship things, you know, men, women stuff, sharing feelings. Pretty heavy.
There's sweet. I need some sugar on top. Dang it.
spent 2 days planning this evening. Do you have any idea how long it's been since we had a quiet, romance evening together?
I was on the phone. Why don't you say come home?
I wanted to surprise you.
Well, I'm surprised.
Ay,
You know, if I didn't understand what you meant on the phone.
Well, what did you think I meant when I said all that stuff about how I was looking forward to seeing you and,
Oh, like you said it like that. I'll be waiting.
well, I wanted to be more subtle. What did you want me to say? The kids are gone. I'm home alone. Come and take me, Big Daddy.
Wow.
Overflowing.
Good night.
Come on, Jill. I don't go out with these guys every night. What's making you so angry?
I am angry because you said you were going to be home in 15 minutes and then you weren't. Because I'm flirting with you like crazy on the phone, you didn't even notice. And most of all, because I went to all this trouble for nothing. I spent the whole evening by myself, and now you're stuck.
All right, guys, I'm going back.
Don't worry about me. I ate at the bar.
Well, at least that'll heat it up in here a little bit. Nice and toasty in here. So what's everybody doing? What kind of weather you got by you? Is it snowing? Is it clear, sunny? What?
A short jab to the shoulder, maybe.
It's definitely not working on car weather here. I've already got snow on the ground and it's still snowing now.
Jennifer been giving you jabs. Were you?
Dodging rain, cold here. Oh, you're at work. Okay. Let's see. What's there? Down. Yeah.
One
Yeah,
side,
let's see.
the other side, she's gonna mash nose. The kind of woman whose nose is big enough you can fit right in.
Sitting here watching Home Improvement. On taillight covers. Taillight covers to what?
Hey, dude, wanna go play some football? Come on, Smitty.
Hey, bunch you. Gotta kiss him. Come on.
I'm wondering if this camera is actually zooming in instead of, because it looks normal on my end. It doesn't look like it's you know, swollen or whatever.
What'd you do wrong, Dad?
Oh, okay, I'll have to check it out then.
Remember that little mister?
Okay. Remember what I said about links. Send me the link in a comment, you know, on one of my videos, because this thing, if I accidentally touch it, it'll knock me completely offline.
Well, you're worth it, honey.
Sometimes I think that the newer phones are not as good as the older phones. I actually had a Note 5 before this, and this thing is slow. I mean, it's slower than my other phone was, especially when you're voice typing, and it still messes up. I went out there to take a look at the car, and you know, I went to try and start it. Still no fuel getting to the carburetor, but I'm starting to think maybe the head gaskets did take. It may have been just like a little residual from getting them on there, because I know they have to heat up and, you know, set themselves to the actual head. So I mean, even though it's torqued down, it still takes a little while for it to heat up. So I've been, you know, I've been starting the engine every once in a while, and there doesn't seem to be any, what the hell is with my hair? What the hell is this shit? Can't even see it. All right. But there's no more water in the oil. I mean, it's not raising up, you know, like normally if you have a head gasket issue, isn't it true that the water will seep through and actually go right into the oil pan and just keep going until there's like no more antifreeze left?
I'm done.
So what's up with
Hey,
this?
done. Honey, I took a shower. That's wake up.
All right, let's see if I get this on here. Because sometimes I can actually get this on my Chromebook. Get it to work. Might be better.
Proper safety goggles.
Internet.
Protect your eyes from unexpected objects. Anyway, these goggles are specially coated to reduce glare.
Yeah, I know, but I know it'll come out first. But wouldn't it go up? Wouldn't the oil level go up higher as time progresses? Like water would go in there, and it just keep getting higher and higher.
Anyway, the important
I'm not
thing
doing
here
this. What is this?
safety on the job site. Safety starts at a little spot right here. You must have direct and clear communication between your coworkers. Now look out!
Let's see.
See? See?
I don't know what the heck this is.
Because I keep clear and direct.
Tab.
Al's coworker, I'm concerned with the safety. Just as Al is concerned. Right out.
I don't know.
What's your point, Tim?
Well, then it would be on top, though. You'd be able to see it, right? I mean, the water, the oil is gray. Let's just put it that way. It's a light gray, almost a white. But it's not going any higher than what it is now.
He means, hey, stop.
But I don't want to keep changing the oil if that's not going to work, Like if it is the head gasket, I would just rather, take the kit and, put the new ones on. I mean, I know it's a job just trying to get the intake and the heads off. And them things are not easy on F-57. Them things are heavy as hell. So, you get a little discombobulated trying to get them out, especially when the car's up on jack stands and you're a short guy like me. I'm only 5'9", or 5'7". Make sure you have gas in the tank. There is gas in the tank, but I don't know. I don't know if it's staying in the tank. It may be running out. It may be, it might be the rubber grommet that goes into the tank from the fill tube. It could be dry rotted. I don't know. I mean, I can't really pour the gas in the gas tank and then look underneath at the same time. I don't know if it's running out fast. I don't know if there's gas in it. I have no idea. I don't know if could be something wrong with the fuel line. Could be something clogged up. You know what I'm saying? Could be a clog in, the line going from the fuel pump to the carburetor, or vice versa from the gas tank to the pump. So let's see if I can do this. O-U-T-B-E. Enter. I want to see if this is going to show up. How long is it going to take before it actually loads? Now, okay, here we go.
tickling. No, Tim, I'm cross-pollinating irises. Take a feather and move the pollen from the stamen. The pistol. It has to be. Why do you sing? Gets me in the mood, Tim. Here's to L'Amour. There won't be L'Amour at this house tonight. Tim, I think I hear from.
Okay. All right.
Jill said.
Yeah, I'll have to, I mean, I'm not going to be working on it in the snow. I mean, even though it's in the carport, I mean, I'm not, the compressor I got's got 2 flat tires. And it's one of them ones that stands like maybe 3-4 foot tall. So it's one of them big canisters. And it's got the 2 gauges, to turn it down or turn it up. And, you got the release mechanism and all that other jazz. I am trying to see if I can find myself on here.
21 RPM stall convert. First like a kid. Maybe a big cat. Now, if something went wrong with that, you'd be able to hear him. Oh, yeah. Really? Metal to metal noises. Valve,
Yeah.
maybe camshaft lower end. Bad news. Arcing sounds always electric. Just dead. You can pick up. Well, that's very, very subtle. Must be hard to pick up on that. Now, if you're tuned in, really paying attention. Oh,
All right. Now I'm on my page, but I don't know what the hell all this other stuff is. Oh, here we go.
Telephone repairman here to fix the phone.
Tim, what are you doing?
Fred now.
Brad?
Yeah.
Okay, so this should be going to live chat right now. Or is this the other night? What the hell you mean? Signed out of YouTube? What the hell's going on with the internet? Not getting any internet on this. I don't know why. See, it's supposed to be set from that. And I don't know why it keeps asking me for a password every time. It shouldn't be doing this. Oh, here we go. See, yeah, you can hear me in the background. It's delayed. There we go. Yeah, you can hear me in the background. It's delayed. There we go.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, you can hear me in the background. It's delayed. Yeah, unfinished. I do have a timing light. I have about 6 of them. The only problem is the car's not running long enough in order to actually get me timing off of it.
Usually.
Yeah, unfinished. I do have a timing light. I have about 6 of them. The only problem is the car's not running long enough.
This means that my husband will pick up on.
And buffering.
Loud and clear, babe.
Well.
Yeah, I am turning it down. Hey, Landon, what's up, man? Well, that fire's kicking now. Check this out, guys. I love it. Wood burning stoves, especially the flat tops.
Look out, lady.
Oh, yeah. Burning red.
You don't want to pay your bill, do you, lady?
Snowmobile.
Outside my door.
Now, see, I can't see the comments for too long on here, but I can see them on
I remember.
the Chromebook. If it doesn't, if it stops buffering.
We lost.
Mommy and Daddy sitting in the tree.
Well, up.
We're in the tree, stupid.
Oh, okay.
And goggles. Proper equipment is essential.
And I got bored last night and I actually made stuffing. Whole friggin' tin of it. Like turkey tin.
Well, I'll clean up this little mess. Let me tell you about next week's show.
Yeah, so like I said, I mean, I hear that people gravity feed their carburetor all the time. Like they put it on top of the car and they'll run a hose from a tank, and run it right into the front of the carburetor because sometimes the pumps don't work. But you would actually have to, I think you have to prime it and everything in order to get the start. Then there's no guarantee that it's going to stay running or it's going to continuously suck the gas into the carburetor. Or it may wind up being too much gas and it may wind up spitting out of the carburetor at the base, I really don't have electric pumps or anything like that, so I really can't do much as far as getting the car to run long enough to be able to tell. I already know the timing's wrong, so that's why I'm saying I'm probably got to take the the heads off, reline the piston number one to top dead center, and then reset the chain to where it's supposed to be. Yeah, but you know what the thing is? There's nothing getting up into the carburetor. The only time that I ever got it running long enough was when I took the top off the carburetor and just filled the float, the reservoir manually. That's it. And once whatever was in the carburetor ran out, that was it. Well, it's working from when I fill up the reservoir. But yeah, you're right. If the needle thing is not in there properly, it could be even the jets too. The jets could be clogged up. From old hose or something like that. A little black particle gets stuck in there, and you get it. You have to get a needle in order to get it out. Yeah. See, he said it before I could say it, but yeah. Well, see, sometimes when I have the reservoir filled up, what I'll do is I'll kick the accelerator, just the pedal itself, just a little bit, so it's not completely closed. Problem is, I have to keep my foot on it in order for it to stay running, because the minute I take it off, it backs off and it shuts up. It shuts down. So. But when I did start it the other day, though, didn't hear that tapping. That tapping that it was doing a couple of videos back is no longer present. So maybe it was the lifters weren't priming up, and maybe they have finally did, because I remember taking the valve covers off and taking oil and just running it down the push rods, in order to see if it would, prime them up a little bit.
But they did have these.
But the PSI for the not the PSI, the foot pounds per square inch is actually just about right. It's what was it? I tightened it down to, I think it was 45, 65, and then finally it's 70. So 70 foot pounds, for the head bolts. But this, if anybody's ever worked on a 57 Chevy, you know that they not only have. Hey, what's up, Steve? How you doing, buddy? If anybody's ever, Steve's worked on a 57, of course he has. I'm saying anybody else here, because I know we got a lot of Mopar guys in the audience. Yeah, he's a friend of mine on YouTube, Facebook, Unfinished. I think everybody knows. Well, a lot of people know me on Facebook. Got I think 810 followers or something on Facebook. You know what the ironic thing is, though? Not too many of the people on Facebook are following me on YouTube. They don't. And, I don't know why, but, I've shown plenty of times over and over again that I've actually been on YouTube since right after a year after they started, so I've been on here quite a while. And I've changed my name a couple times, but, I figured something more suiting for what I was doing. But now they got it to the point where your name is going to stay your name, and if you change it, it's something with the account. I forget what, but so.
Never been here before.
Anyway, like I was saying though, anybody else other than Steve, who's worked on a 57 Chevy with 283 V8, know that there's not just the 8 bolts going where the push rods and rocker arms are. There's also the exhaust manifold bolts, and then you also have a row of bolts right at the end of the head, underneath the exhaust manifolds on both sides. So technically, there's
Oh my God, you guys get
16, 16, 32. 32 bolts just in the head itself. What is a troll video, Landon? What are you talking about, a troll video? What is that? I'm just trying to understand the lingo, you know? I mean, I'm old school, so. Oh, making fun of people. So they probably got one of their of me too, huh? Right? Yeah.
do that.
Look, her dare me. He bet I wouldn't have
Not so internet savvy, Rich 220 tries to get online, winds up getting knocked off by clicking on link, and then struggles extremely hard trying to get back on. Only to find out all the people that are viewing his live stream have disappeared.
Thanks for making me look bad. What? Your mother.
Now, this thing is still on,
my pal.
what do they call that?
Wants me to go to the truck rally, but
There we go.
the wicked she mother doesn't. You do this to me all the time.
6 people. Yeah, so what I was posting online was actually on Facebook. I found out just the other night, okay? And this is like almost 60 years later. My grandfather, my father's father, apparently was a volunteer fireman. And he lost his life being a first responder to a factory that dealt with chemicals called Morningstar Paisley. And what was it? He died February 17th, 1967. And I posted it all over Facebook, you know. I think I even did a video here. But I don't know how to do the posting of pictures, you know what I mean? I mean, I found the news articles, and only by stupidity did I find out that he was actually one of the first responders. So like I was saying to everybody in the previous video, you know, I still need parts in order to try and complete this car. Windows are a pain in the butt to find. I can't find them anywhere. And if they do show up, they're extremely expensive. I live on a very tight budget. But what I want to do is on the trunk lid, if you guys seen the back of the car, it looks pretty good. It's nice, clear, you know, area to etch a memorization of, you know, somebody can make a slide show and post. You'll have to tell me how to do that, because I'm not even sure how to do that. I'm not really internet savvy anymore. I mean, I gave up when they stopped making the big towers. You know, the desktop with the big friggin' bulky screens and stuff like that. I used to know all that stuff. I had to set computer to a previous time. I knew how to get rid of Trojans and worms and everything else, because my ex-wife was all over the internet. iMovie. All right. Now I'll have to see about that later. Either that, or if you know me on Facebook, you can leave a comment in there too, you know. Don't have to be on YouTube. I'm a member of quite a few 57 car clubs on Facebook. Usually what I do in order to get, you know, attention drawn to YouTube, I get it from Facebook. You know, but I don't get it from YouTube. So it's like there's a bigger audience for YouTube than there is on Facebook, because not a lot of people know who I am. And I don't want my garbage broadcasted to the entire world. I don't need weirdos showing up at my house, you know, or somebody that, you know, is a stalker or something like that. You gotta be careful nowadays. There's too many sick people in this world, you know.
Look out, would you?
Oh, serious. This is real sexy.
It is?
Yeah. You got the legs for it. Wish it was shorter. The kills.
I'm gonna thank you.
And the other thing I figured out is I want to get, I don't want to put SS Craigers on it, but I want to get the, like the 69 Corvette Stingray rims, you know, where it says General Motors product. It's got that big centerpiece and it's got the rings on it, those rally rims. But I've been looking online and man, they want some outrageous prices for these rims, you know, and it's like all of a sudden everybody acts like they're sitting on a pile of gold, you know. I think that's due to, you know, Biden and his raising of everything, making it harder for everybody to live, you know. I mean, unless your costs are well off, then you don't care. But a little guy like me, it makes everything more difficult. Because then your mortgage goes up, cost of food goes up, everything, you know. And me, I just went out. What was it? Recently, I got rid of my truck and got a newer vehicle because
Doing a real good job.
the Dodge 1500 pickups, they're garbage.
Hey, pretty cool.
I'm sorry, but
I
I had the 1500 4x4 crew cab, and yeah, it wasn't brand new, but it was like a 2014. It had like no miles on
I
it.
get home from the games.
But
We'll go for
the dealership had the vehicle a couple of times, and they broke a couple of the tabs off for the throttle body,
sneaking out and breaking.
which is a no-no because that tells the computer, hey, guess what? There's a problem here. And they all acted like they didn't know what I was talking about, like I was talking out of my ass. And then what was it? Before that, it was a valve guide issue, which I did know, and I told them about it, and they just ignored me. Oh, it's pre-certified. Blah, blah, blah. No, it's not, because you wash a car and you clean the inside of it doesn't mean it's mechanically sound. I can't get a fixed rate. You know why? Because my ex-wife. That's why. Her name is still on the mortgage note, even though she's supposed to be what the heck they call it? She did a bankruptcy. She did a quit claim deed, and these people are still trying to raise up my interest rate. And right now, it's my mortgage is over $1,500 a month. So, plus it doesn't help that she rang up $27,000 in credit card debt on my behalf after she already gotten $100 and something thousand from her mother. Real nice lady, you know.
Gets old enough to start having fun with it. All we do is fight.
But I had to get rid of her. I mean, I was sitting there working on weekends taking care of elderly people. And while I was working all weekend long and all week, she'd go out to bars. And one time I caught her with somebody. And I had to get rid of her. She was not only a cheater, she was a gold digger. She was physically and verbally abusive. Hey, Bubba, what's up, buddy? I'm doing a live again, Bubba, because my last one took 2 days to upload the video. And when it finally did go up, it said something about I had selected something private. I didn't select anything private. I went to go public. And it wouldn't allow any of the comments to show in the live.
What should I do?
So
I can't tell you that, Tim. Nowadays, each father has to find his own unique way to initiate this. That's it. Mm-hmm. Gotta be honest, Wilson, you're kind of disappointed.
Man, that fire feels so good in here, man.
Going in the right direction.
Of course, I'm gonna have to add some wood soon because it's already burned up. I think it's still snowing outside too.
This? Good neighbor.
Ah, oh, there's another stray hair. Yeah, up there.
You know Michael rowed the boat ashore? We'll row the boat ashore.
There's two other people that usually show up, but I don't know if they are. My brother usually shows up, which I haven't seen him. No, I actually made sure it's not for kids. I did that this time too. I made sure it's not for kids, but I also told it not to age restrict. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause it's not. I'm not using any profanity or anything, and I'm not doing anything that's like rated PG. You know, a couple of curse words slip here and there. I'm sure. I mean, I've heard curse words when I was in the 4th grade. You know.
Plasma coated the block and intake manifold.
I didn't know you were that interested in cars.
Never asked.
I'm impressed. Not a lot of guys take the time and the money to tweak out an 84 Mercury Marquis wagon.
Mother thought it was a nice, safe car.
And roomy. Come in handy if you ever get married.
All right, Landon. I'll send you my email, my mail address. When I get new windows, I'll put the sticker on the car. All right. But I got to find the windows first. There's 3 things I need for that car in order for it to be complete. Everything else I got, I bought. The other things are hard to find. And you guys, if you have a 57 Chevy, you know this. The runner board moldings, very difficult to find in good shape. I have one, and it's in great shape. Windows, of course, because it's a 4-door, it needs 4 glass panes. Not the vent windows and not the little, windows in the back behind the rear doors. Just the door windows. And a license plate light. That's it. Everything else, as far as the wiring goes, I can wire it up myself. I have a new, actually right here. Hang on a second. So I have new ones of these for the 57. That's for the exhaust manifolds, the exhaust. And then, yeah, I have this. Where is it? Okay, those are screws. I have this because the one that's in there started smoking. So I'm going to put a new one on there. And then what I ultimately want to do is I want to rewire the car. But because the other thing is, the plate that goes underneath the steering ring in the steering wheel, it has the wire going throughout the steering column to the outside to this, which I'm going to show you right now. This is a horn relay. Okay. And this usually goes out underneath the hood. But I don't have the plate that goes underneath the horn ring. And I don't know how I'm going to run a wire up through into the steering column to that. Because I think they yanked that out. I do, however, have the original OEM horns. I found them in Jersey as well. And I was actually surprised to have found them. I don't know if they work or not because the horn that they had hooked up into this car wasn't original. It was like one of those push button things that they put on the dash, or they drilled into the the hell they call that, the dash trim where it says Bel Air. Yeah, they put screws in that. That's why I took that off and I seen there was holes behind it that they had cut out, I think, for an equalizer for the radio they had, and I had to weld up metal in order to, fill that in. And then I found the trim on eBay. This guy thought it was for a 64 Chevy Impala or something like that, and it was for the 57. So
really me? Better than that, man. You moved in a new phase.
So let's see. I've already got. Oh, and the other thing is a mirror. For the life of me, I can't find a decent mirror. All of them are either pitted or they're aftermarkets. You know, the aftermarkets have the Chevrolet emblem on the other side of the mirror where the chrome is. That's not an original. The original doesn't have a Chevy emblem. I mean, they look the same as far as, you know, the design is concerned, but they're not. Like Steve, he sent me up an original, what is it, oil fill tube cap? Because what I had was like a chrome one. I'm like, you know, I wanted to make the car look original. I'm not trying to make it look like a hot rod. I'd rather have it look like grandma's grocery getter than, you know, something that's flying down the street at 95 miles an hour or four doors, you know? So,
Good step today. The first step was man, but that's it. Finish it.
It was great. Yeah. Godzilla set a new record. So I
I want to stick our email. It's my about section. It's an address.
Where's my hat?
awesome. Mama,
No, I know that, Landon, but there's a lot of people that actually donate parts. They don't always try and charge you for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not going to be like, you know, some hot rod that I go flying down the street with. This is going to be in dedication to somebody who gave of himself to help others. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm from that time period. Like, if I had something here that somebody need, I'd give it to them. I'm the kind of person I'll give you my shirt off my back. I'm not going to charge you for it. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem with this world nowadays. Too many people are me, my, mo, mum. That's not what it's about. We're all human beings. For the time that we're here, you know, we should be there to help each other out, not sitting there trying to, you know. Yeah, but you know, ultimately, they could tell you what to do with your car, but the thing is that in the end, you're going to do, you know, what it is you set out to do. Like I've always looked at the, you know, the older cars that they should actually be original stock. You know what I mean? And like I said, with this car, it actually has the original engine and transmission. It has the burping power glide, whatever the heck it is. Yeah, it's not about being picky. I still got a lot of work to do. I got to put the glove box in. I got to take the whole old headliner down. I got to put the new headliner up. I still got to refabricate the seats, you know, with the pattern and everything else. And then I want to get different carpeting because the carpeting in there is not long enough to reach out at both ends. You know, one door and the other door. There's no holes in the floorboards. There's no holes in the trunk. The frames are solid. The only thing that's wrong is the runner board and some of the, what do you call it, the cab mounts or whatever underneath. I think a couple of them are rotted away right at the end, you know. But it has no effect on the frame. You know, the frame is all there. The X-member is still there. You know, drive shaft and everything is there. I've actually driven the car a couple of times since I've had it. So not only the second day that I had it, but, you know, after I put the new pistons in it and everything, even though I've had the carburetor issues and gas and everything, timing's still out of whack, but I was able to drive the car from where it sat into the carport under its own power, even with a little bit of gas. So I know the transmission's fine. The brakes, however, are not fine. I got to work on them. But that could be anything from a line to a wheel cylinder, you know? And if it is the master cylinder, it's the original master cylinder of the car. It's a little square one with a little, you know, it looks like one of them things you use on a pool in order to close the return lines. But yeah, my major problem right now is, like I said, it's just trying to find. I would love to be able to get all the bumper parts too, like, you know, the turn signal bar, you know, replace that because the one light on the driver's side, the guy broke it off before bringing it up here, and I actually drilled and anchored some 18 gauge steel, put some screws in there, and grinded the tops down and grinded the backs down in order to make it look like it wasn't broken. So I made some braces for that. I do, however, have a middle section for the front bumper. I bought that at Island Raceway off of a guy that knows me on Facebook, but I haven't heard from him since. So there's supposed to be another guy in Andover that actually has the original rims with wide whites, but I can't find that guy either. I don't know where he went. So technically what I want to try and do is get a, ultimately in the long run, get a rear bumper and, all the parts that I need for the front. The rubber things in the front are fine. There's no problem with that. I need, just to find that, and I'm going to have to find another, headlight bezel because it's cracked, Hey, Otis Salvage Outlaw, how you doing, bud? It's like I'm reading the chat from my my Chromebook while I'm recording this.
We're watching Gadget Corner.
You guys like this segment?
Yeah. By the way, Jill and I thought that the woman who demonstrated the lid opener was very attractive. Didn't you?
Attractive. I hardly even noticed she was a woman.
Hardly even noticed.
Hey, does anybody know how to get the lens off of the dome light inside the 57 Chevy? Because I've tried and I don't want to break it.
Wait a minute. I wasn't looking at her. I was looking past her.
Yeah, right into her waterbed.
She was leaving just like you should be.
Yeah.
I had to acknowledge her.
Oh, well, okay. Let's look at acknowledgement again, shall we? Did those legs go all the way up?
This shot is not.
They should pop out, huh?
It's supposed to be on Al.
So you make Jill's not around.
Yes. No. I was looking at her, but I was thinking the whole time she's stunning in 25.
Oh, so I'm old and plain.
What should pop out?
Far from plain. And old.
Pinch and twist what?
You're so far from old, you're practically young.
You guys talking to me or are you talking to somebody else in the chat? Oh, I know how to get the lenses out. That's not the problem. Yeah, I put new lenses in it. The lenses are new because the ones that were in it were broken. They were like half disintegrated. Pinch and twist. Oh, okay. It was a long response before I got anybody to say anything. That's why I was like, huh? A little lost, You know what's weird about this car is it still has the sound deadening stuff
Look at me.
on the top, underneath the headliner. No mouse is eating away at it. That's really odd.
Aren't you,
I would have thought for sure by 65 years, I mean, we have rips in the headliner, but
That's just an act.
it's not like the Oldsmobile. The Oldsmobile's actually got that, that stuff that's all chewed up and everything. They got it towards the end of the headliner, where it's separated from the poles. Hey, I'm just afraid I'm going to snap it. And the other thing I got to get to is, or I have to take out the lights, the little buttons that when you open the door and close it, it opens and puts the dome light on. I got to rewire that too. And I think that I found a whole bunch of wiring in a big pile of, wire together. It's got tabs and stickers and names and everything else on it. I think some of the stuff is to the clock and some of it's to the radio, in order to hook that up. The cigarette lighter does work. It's the original. They left that behind. They left the original ashtray behind, and the one that's behind the front seat, that's still in there too. The door buttons are all original. They're not replaced. I went and got window cranks because I think I only had like 3 sets or almost 3 sets. You know, two for the the back ones were there, but the front one on the passenger side, they were all missing. So I went and bought new sets. And I made sure that they were in the same, design and thickness of the way the old ones were, because I know that they make cheap ones, and usually when you put them on, they break because they can't deal with the tension of the window because you're dealing with a 65-year-old car, you know. But for now, like I was saying the last time, I actually made some temporary, but they're only for the front. They're the same thickness as the original double pane glass, but they're made out of fiberglass. And I'm not really sure how to clean them up in order to make them look better. I've heard, like with the plastic lenses on these newer cars, you can use like a rubbing compound or something like that, and use a multi-speed polisher in order to clean it up. Now, a lot of people are saying, no, you need to use, like a very fine grit sandpaper. But that, I don't think that that's right, because I think that's just to put scratches in it,
Well, why is that?
Unbelievable young goddess just came in and sat right behind
I'm gonna fall into that with a 74-year-old steel worker. Hey, Marge, they got no beer here.
you. Not exactly, Sam.
Oh yeah, she's the Baba Boom type.
Well, as a matter of fact.
Well, I went to one place and, the guy was total ass. He wouldn't do anything. He was like the laziest freaking guy I've ever seen in my life. And he gave me a hard time. And I just I took my business out of there. I said, if you're going to be like that, you ain't going to be in business long, pal.
Even nothing else.
Oh, man. Off to the right,
So,
3 o'clock. Unbelievable.
I seen another one down the street, but I don't think that they deal with safety glass. I think they only deal with like regular glass. And forget about Safelite, because they don't do that kind of stuff. They only have like newer model cars glass,
Tim the Pool Man Taylor, I never miss your show.
Oh, you had me confused that handsome.
Now, give me a second. I got to put a couple pieces of wood in there before it goes out. It's starting to feel a draft from the bathroom. Ah. I think one ought to do it. Just for a little while.
Could you put my last name too? Kiki Von Furstenwallenscheiße.
God.
FERSTERWALlenscheiße.
Oh, a heat gun. Okay. That's good. Yeah, but I'm not, the thing is, I know that those places are expensive. I know, they charge a lot of money for, glass panes. That's the same thing like, what is that? What was the other one? Dan Chuck. Dan Chuck does a lot of parts for the cars, but I don't know if they're making them from like a, looking like an original press or what, but sometimes people tell me that things don't work, And I deal with advanced auto parts up by me because I get a discount because I'm special needs bus driver, and they buy their parts for the garage from them and other sellers as well. But they've been following me throughout the whole time. I actually have a friend that works for Advance. His name is Jason, and he tries to get me a deal whenever I can, whenever I need something. Like right now, the next thing that I want to work on after I get these head gaskets put in is going to be the connecting rod bearings. But he ordered me a set of bearings that it only had the little tab that locks into, the one side of the cap, but it doesn't have a feed through hole for the oil. And you can't use that in a car like that, you have to have something that has the oil going through, Otherwise you wear out the crankcase.
But all I'm saying, Tim, is if I were married to you and you looked at other women, I think it would hurt my feelings.
It's a 4-door unfinished. It's not a 2-door. And I got pretty far. I don't know if you ever saw what it looked like beforehand unfinished, but it literally looked like crap. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm coming towards the end where, we're almost ready to have this car running, and now it's just cosmetic things, so. I mean, if it was a 2-door, yeah, I would agree with you. I would say, yeah, it's the wrong car to, restore on a budget, but it's not. It's a 4-door. So the only good thing about it, which is why I didn't sell it or get rid of it, is because it's a numbers match. At least the engine and drivetrain is. It's the original for the car. And before anybody tells me there's no such thing as a 57 Chevy numbers match engine. Yes, there is. There is a bar that I actually have on my phone. It's a picture, and I can actually post it to Facebook. And you take your VIN number, you take your exhaust manifold number, the carburetor number, the generator number, the intake manifold.
If your primary reason, then your
I would have pulled out. Nah, well, see, that's the problem. Like, the only thing I have is a 455, and I don't think that engine's going to fit in there. That car's got the air conditioning unit that's not seized, and that's in my 69 Olds. That thing's got a boat front end on it. That's a big engine. I don't feel like cutting any cross members in order to make it fit or anything like that. Plus, I don't have the tools to do that.
On the top of that pyramid, you want to be on the bottom of that. Do is work on your ball handling and your moves. No, you're not. What you need is a training.
Wow. My Chromebook is so slow. It's not even running in real time.
We can do it right now. Go get changed. I'll get some tools out of the garage and start building. I'll be right there. Wilson?
Oh, good neighbor.
What's with that cheesy music?
I want to take a vacation, so I'm
Cheesy music?
subjecting myself to a place I'd like to be.
Hawaii?
No. Tahiti. Hawaii's too crowded.
Do you mind if I interrupt your vacation?
Crack my coconut, Tim.
The other night, Jill took me to this restaurant, and I was glancing at these other women. Don't get me wrong, I love Jill. I'm crazy about her.
She is a magnificent mate, Tim.
Yeah, I know. I really try to respect women. I don't consciously gawk at them. I do look. Is it a reflex or something?
Well, Tim, it goes back a million years. In order for the species to survive,
Well,
the Stone Age man had to seek out many different women.
Auto Salvage Outlaw agrees with
Menage a Flintstone.
unfinished projects, but everything that I've done to this car, I've done on a budget. So there are ways around things. You just got to know how. Like I said, the trim that I've gotten for that car for the dash, guy thought it was a 64 part. Now, you guys know as well as I do, that little centerpiece of trim actually costs about randomly about $45. Okay, plus shipping. Okay, and it's just a piece of tin. That's it. And that comes without the Bel Air thing on it. Hey, Bear Rose, welcome. Nice to have you stop in, buddy. But the guy sold it as a 64 part and charged me $32 for the whole thing. And, you know, that's with the Bel Air script in the trim piece. And I knew that it wouldn't be the right one if it said Chevrolet on it because it's a Bel Air.
What a great job you do on the show.
And the clock I got for $40. The radio I got for $38. The lenses for the turn signal bar, I think I got $10. I got them for $10. The louvers that go on the fenders, you know, the 3 gold ones for each side, I think I got them for $10 altogether. I think the most expensive thing that I bought on it was the little trim piece that goes above the side piece where it says Bel Air. That for a set of 2, but that was original factory stuff that actually had the original GM paper still wrapped around it. I think that was like $100. And then I located a couple of pieces in Jersey, like for the passenger side front fender. I was missing the trim piece that goes from the door to the headlight. I found that for the passenger side. Usually that's the hardest one to find. I think because I usually get them messed up or whatever. You got coffee? Where's mine, Barrows? Where's my coffee?
The memory of some things you created together.
In the handle. So, what was I saying? The only thing that I did have a problem finding, I dealt with the guy that was down at Island Raceway. He had better trim pieces than what I had on the car. I think it was like $20 or something like that. The headliner itself that I got from Island Raceway was originally $35. And then the guy just decided at the end of the day, $20 because it didn't sell and he didn't want to take it with him. But it's thick black vinyl. And like I said, the original sound deadening stuff is up there. So all I really got to do is take the old one down and put the new one up and then just start tucking and, you know, whatever. And I also have the rope stuff that goes around the door frames on the inside right next to the headliner. And I got to put that in. But there's enough there for all 4 doors because I think it was cut out before I got them. There was a couple other things too. I got the glass jar with the little pump inside for, you know, the sprayers for the windshield. But I'm not sure where that goes, and I'm not sure how that hooked in. You know, I'd like to get that hooked in too. What was the other thing I got? There's a couple other things I got like 12 hubcaps for that car, and I've seen people charge $900 for a set of hubcaps. I'm like, are you kidding me? You know, so plus I have these Bel Air things right here, but this is for a 2-door. These are not for a 4-door.
So my fantasy is to be with a man approaching middle aged with a punch and a low rated cable show.
Right. Now, that's not what I look for, but I'm not you. The truth is that what I did was just...
Yeah, I know.
You like burping it. But not with other women.
Yeah, I know.
I saved my
Well,
best burps for you.
There's a couple of things that I have too, but like I said, you know, the strips here with the Bel Air still on them, you know, with the badge and all that, they're both here in my house. I don't leave them outside because I know what they are. You know, I've seen what they go for online. And if I were to clean these up a little bit, I'm sure they'd go for just about the same if I wanted to get crazy, you know. But if somebody wanted to swap me out parts, you know, like I have these things. What the hell else was it I have? I have some trim pieces and There's something else I have too. I can't remember what the hell it is. I think I got a couple of louvers, and there's still something else. Hubcaps, of course. I think that's about it. I really don't have much. Everything that I've bought for the car has been mechanical. Or gaskets or something like that. One guy was making fun of me. I took to get the oil pan off, and it was all banged up inside. He goes, "Yeah, that'll work. Get a new oil pan." No, I turned around, I took it, put it on my walking part of my deck, and I took a rubber mallet and started pounding out the dead. Then he turns around and responds to the fact that, "Oh yeah, that'll work. Just take a quart less. That's all." I'm like, no. And it wasn't me that messed it up. It was somebody else prior to me owning it. So fuel injected power steering wheels. Well, let's see. This one here, I could still make out the gold on the bottom of the Bel Air thing here, and at the bottom of the badge, but they're so faded. They'd have to be redone again. As far as the painting of that goes, and the little badge on it. But they're still there. The badge is still there, and so is the Bel Air. And there's no holes in them, so.
You're right, Tim. These soft foam-filled plastic cushions earmuffs.
Make engine work cause you can't buy. Yeah. But see, the thing is like even the junkyards up here, the New Jersey has been doing away with old car junkyards. So all the people that actually had the old cars, they're being crushed. They're not. There's nothing that's accessible anymore. I had one that was down in Pine Brook. They used to have a whole slew of old cars. There's nothing there anymore. They got rid of the junkyard. There was another junkyard up over, not too far from me, about maybe 20 minutes away from me. And every time you went in there, you had a tick on you. But they had some of the older cars in there, and they were out in the woods. And I've seen them going all the way back to early International Harvester trucks. Yeah, that was the thing. A lot of them were used in demolition derbies. That's why I think I keep getting somebody saying about a 4-door, being rarer than a 2-door because, they don't see too many of them. But lately I've been seeing a lot of people pulling them out of barns and everything else. So it's like, but they're pulling them out of barns and it's like, if they keep pulling them out of barns, the values of that car is going to drop down so low, because it'll be like, hello, they're all back in civilization again. They're not sitting there collecting dust. Everybody will have one. But then you get these people like you were saying too, where, they have 4 doors, but there's nothing left to it, or they have a 2-door, but there's nothing left but the frame and just the shell of the car. No front end, no engine, no trans. All the trim has been stripped off, glass, the seats, everything, And they want a fortune for it too. A couple months ago, I seen on Facebook there was a 57. I think it was a 210 because you can tell by the trim pieces at the top of the fins whether it's smaller or bigger. Mine is a Bel Air because it goes all the way to the window. But he had a red. I think it was a 210, and there was no front end on it, no front clip at all, no engine, no trans. $7,000, no seats, and the only thing it had was a door trim and the fin thing, and a little piece that goes across the top of the fin. back window was missing trim, the side windows were missing the trim, you know. So it's like they cannibalize it and then they sit there and act like it's still worth it anyway. But the thing is that it makes it very difficult for somebody else to locate the parts and get them on the car. You know, I don't want to be sitting here till I'm 95 years old, you know, ready to kick the button. No, I just finally got the last glass window for the car, or I finally just got a license plate light for my car, you know. It only took me 50 something years and the car's already 65 years old, you know. It's just going to sound stupid, you know. Won't be able to enjoy it then. But, you know, with the way it is right now, I mean, technically if I put the new head gaskets on there and I time it right, you know, instead of being like, you know, here's the piston up at 1 and the timing is over here, you know, it's not over here where it needs to be, you know. That's the problem with what I ran into with the car. When I first got it, they had the number 1 spark plug not in the number 1 receptacle on the distributor cap. They had it in the number 8, and they followed the sequence from that. That's where everybody was telling me, well, you need to put the top gear at 12 and the bottom gear at 12. And I'm sitting there, and I was like kind of, you know, messed up in the head from that. I'm like, I was always taught that it's supposed to be top gear down, bottom gear up, you know, 6 and 12. And then, you know, number 1 piston's got to be all the way up. So that's the problem that I'm dealing with right now. The piston is up at 1, okay? The timing marks are off. They're not right. But it does start anyway because it's just on the cusp of it. But it still has to be adjusted. So I'd rather have it run properly. That might be the reason why it's not staying running or it's not drawing the fuel into the carburetor. The cam lobe may be off for the armature for the fuel pump. You know.
All in the leg.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Is like when I got mine, the guy wanted 3,500, but it looked like crap. You know what I'm saying? And he said it didn't run. And you know, I even showed there's a video of that on YouTube as well. One of my very first videos for this car. The guy opens the door. He looks inside, lifts up some of the trim pieces where it says Bel Air and drops it and says there's no car left. Okay. Then he opens the front. He shows the inside. There's no horn ring. There's no radio. There's holes in the dash where the trim goes. There's no clock, no door panel on the passenger side. And, you know, he closed that door. Then he goes up in the front, gets down on the ground, and starts running across the length of the car with the camera. And it shows that the frame's solid. And that's the reason why I bought the car, sight unseen. I didn't even go to see it. The guy said it didn't run, and I had him dolly it up here, but he had it in drive or in neutral or something. And by the time I got to my house, I went and put my hand on the valve cover and it was warm. But he said it didn't run. And then the next day what I did was I checked all the fluids instead of putting Marvel's Mystery Oil where the pistons were. But I don't know if they were broken already. They could have been broken a long time before I got the car. Number 2 and number 3 pistons were broken 4 different places. On Facebook, there is a picture of the bottom apron part still connected to the connecting rod, riding up and down in the cylinder, not making connection with the side. So even though the top of the piston was separated from the bottom, and there were, you know, intake and exhaust valve imprints in the top of the piston heads itself, there was no damage to the cylinder walls. So I managed to take both of them out, put new pistons in. I actually, to this day, right now, see if I can move these.
Your sidewalk or driveway.
Them in
To
here.
do that, we're going to need to mix up some concrete.
That there. This here, this.
A man's
Get this out of here. I gotta go through this anyway, because I gotta find out what the hell this is. And then this, of course.
1,000 pounds behind
Ah.
power truck. Oh yeah. 10 yarder, 15 shoot, spit water, gravel, spit out.
Okay. Yep. So,
Frankly, who needs
I'm pretty sure you guys know what these are.
nobody.
Okay? Yeah. There's two of these inside the 57 Chevy right now. And there are still, should be 6 in here. 2, 4.
Cookies you brought in yesterday.
Wait a minute, why is there 7? Should be 7 in here.
Here you go, Tim.
There's 7 of them in here. Standard. Why is there 7 pistons in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Oh.
Yeah, this is my costume. Look like an elf.
Oh, Elves are those pointed shoes.
Yeah, but please.
Okay, that's weird. I have 7 pistons. There should only be 6.
See all your superheroes. Superman, Batman, Spider-Man.
Wonder Woman.
Gotta wear tights if you fly. It's an FAA regulation. Aerodynamic or something.
Yeah, I've already got the rings on them. No, there's 7 of them total in the box. There should be 2 in the car. In the engine.
Men.
There is 2 in the car. I actually got pictures of them. So why do I have... There shouldn't be 7 in here. There should only be 6. Oh, wait, maybe that's what it is. I got one previously before I bought the box of these. That's right. That's how long it's been since I've done these. No, I didn't mess up. No, I bought a piston separately, and I wound up putting that in the car. These are all standards. They're not different. So,
As I see it, fella, you got 2.
no, so that's good. I'll have 7 then. If I ever have a problem, I'll be able to replace them again. You know, the hardest part is getting the, connecting rod to go out the cylinder, because you gotta, when you put them in, you gotta have that tool in order to squeeze the rings in order to drop it in.
Yeah. Oh. Honey.
Hi.
Where did I get these from anyway?
Ready?
Help me with the groceries.
Engine Tech. That's where I got them from. I think I got them from wrongauto.com. I got to research my videos now. I'm kind of questioning now. There should be. There's a stand. There was another one that I had bought separately. I don't know why I did that, but yeah, that's what happened. I bought a set of rings for that piston, and that came in a box. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, why am I buying one at this price when, I could buy all 8 of them probably about just a little bit more than what it would cost for the one. Here's another antique that you probably some of you guys will probably remember this. You guys remember who that is? You know what year that is? It's before my time. How about this guy here? Let's see how old you guys are. How old is this? Now remember, this is about 12 years before my time. And this one here, I think you guys know who that guy is. No guessers, huh? 19.
I'll get it.
Yeah.
What?
It didn't work.
Well, I've always done timing chains, and gears with the what is it? The top gear, with the dot pointing down and the bottom gear pointing up. It's another thing that I collect. Can you read that? That's how old those cards are. This is almost a complete set of 57. You guys probably used to put them in your bike spokes. Little clothesline clips. Not easy to try and find a whole set of them anymore.
I just never realized that I weigh so much more than that trunk.
Honey, that trunk didn't give birth to 3 kids.
No, I know exactly where it's keyed. The key is actually supposed to be at the timing mark. Okay, that's your crank on the bottom. If it's not at the timing mark, then you put that gear on, the dot should line up straight. So it'll be like this. All right, here's your keyway over here. Here's your timing mark on the gear itself. Okay, so it should be like at 2 o'clock. One dot and the other. Or the keyway and the dot on the bottom gear. And then the top gear, which is your cam, which has actually got to go down to 6. That's the way I was always taught, or knew. Because I did that with a 50 Dodge with a flathead 6. I had to do a timing chain on that, and I did that with a 70. I want to say 78, but it might have been a 76 or 77 Thunderbird with a 351 Windsor. That needed a timing chain too, because that has the fiberglass gears. It had the coating on the top of the gear. The inner part of the gear was metal, but the outer part was like fiberglass or something like that. Hardened fiberglass. Let's see, what else did I have to do? I did the distributor on a 72 Ford Gran Torino with a 351 Cleveland. And then I did have another 69 Olds Delta 88 Royale with a 455 Rocket, but that had a 4-barrel, not a 2-barrel like this one. This 69 88 has a 2-barrel carburetor on a 455 Rocket. But I don't think that they gave up on the posi rear. I think they still had that with a posi rear on it. It has a crossover Y pipe to one single coming out. But when you get the heads and you take all that stuff off, I like the old school stuff, like I said, Landon. The old school stuff, I understand that. I know how to open the points and close and the condenser and, set the timing and put the rod from the distributor into the oil inlet slot. I know how to do the timing and stuff. I know how to do head gaskets. My problem was I just took bad advice from people and thought I could do it. And no, you can't do it. Not with the kind of gaskets that I had gotten. So that's why I have to put new head gaskets in. The intake manifold gaskets are fine though. There's nothing, because they're not going to come off. They're seated to the heads right now. So if I can get them off and just, put the head gaskets in there, the intake manifolds should not be disturbed, The gaskets there, they shouldn't be disturbed. And I should be able to just drop them back in because the heads actually on both ends have a little nub that sticks up. And they ride into these little holes in the heads. So you just lock them on that way. And then you put the bolts in.
No. Tailors, we're not quitters. Just because a woman does it doesn't mean a man can't.
Man, is this thing slow.
It's time for you to reclaim Peter Pan. Make him your kind of guy. A guy that whittles and ice skates, goes on a skateboard, a man's man, a guy with hair and shed. Would you forget about the ice cream truck for a minute?
Yeah, well, that's a reason why I got another. See, I got here. Let's see if I can get it down from here.
Piano wire, this aircraft cable. We could live nana with this stuff. Darn right, wow. All right, fly me like an eagle. Pull it up.
Here we go. Oh, something just fell off. Don't know what the hell it was. Okay, so.
You're out of the house. Now go on, get back, get back.
Oh, I do still have this. Okay, this is the oil pan gasket, front and rear, main not bearings, for the oil pan. So I have that, and then I have some random gaskets from the first kit, like the water pump, some other stuff I guess for the exhaust. And then I have, now see, this was the big misconception. For the 57 Chevy, these do not go on. Okay, these are the, there's exhaust and intake seals, for the valves. These are for intake. The white ones are for exhaust. And the 57 Chevy wasn't made for having these, okay? They weren't machined for that. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, here's the exhaust ones. Okay, they're white, and then you have the so many extra, valve seal rings. Then we got this here. I think this is main bearing. And see, this car never had exhaust manifolds gaskets. It didn't come with it. They had machined it just so that you didn't need it. All right, so then I have, if they do come off, these are new ones. They're not bent or nothing. Okay, these are for the intake manifolds. I got two of them. And then I got another kit altogether right here. Head gasket kit. So I'm all set. Just a matter of the weather, not being as crappy as it is, and I can work out there. So.
All right. You guys fly up to bed. Don't forget to brush your teeth.
Not anymore. I got news for you, Bear Rose. Down here in Jersey, nothing is cheap. You actually have to have money in order to live here. It's like the way some parts of Florida are. Everything's gone up in Jersey. You can thank your wonderful politicians for that. Whether it be Democratic or whatever the other one is. I'm not even getting involved in the political part of it because I can't stand political garbage. I think that ultimately all of them are just after trying to steal your money to make them richer. That's it. They can care less about you. And that's just the way I see it. That's my visual aspect of it. Me, when I get done, at the end of the day, I don't even go out. I don't go out to bars. I don't do nothing. I got plenty of things to keep me occupied here, I got my radios. I got my pinball machine. I got my, slot machines. I have my video games, my TVs, my DVDs. I can, I don't need to bother with nothing. I don't need to go to a bar. I don't need to do any of that. Yeah, well, that's why I bought the kit anyway. That's this right here. It's the whole kit. Everything is in there that you just seen that I showed you here. that stuff is there except for the oil pan gasket. The oil pan gasket is sold separately. The oil pan gasket is $32. Okay. The head gasket kit, they can be anywhere from the one I was looking for is the one I have, which has got the original gaskets on the car now that are no good because they slid. You know, because I can't position the heads right being on a stool, trying to get over the top of the fender in order to put that in there. In other words, it has to be off the jack stands in order for me to be able to do it, and it's impossible to do it that way because you actually have to jack up the engine. So that means when I go out there, I have to take the radiator off again. I got to take the generator off. I got to take the engine mounting bushings off the front, because I just bought them. They're brand new. Then I have to take, the fan off, the fan pulley, the water pump, the intake manifold, the heads off, the valve covers, and then the timing chain cover, which is, this car still has the screws. It doesn't have bolts. The timing chain cover's got flathead screws, and the valve cover's got Phillips head screws. So I managed to keep everything, in an area where I could find it, so that way I didn't misplace anything or have to go and find other parts. Now the guy at the auto parts store said he could probably source me the windows, but they're going to be expensive. I'm wondering if this is the same as the. Let me see something real quick. I want to see if the numbers match. Now, see, the numbers are different. HS7733P2, and this one's. Oh, it is the same thing. One's PT2 and one's PT3. All right, so it's the same thing.
Other people, and we all know what that means.
Yeah, it means he already is.
You know what? I'm fed up, and I'm through.
Yeah, but I can't afford that right now. I mean, I'm getting ready to come back off of mortgage suspension, which means they're going to want $1,500, over $1,500 every month. So, right now I'm trying to, keep money off to the side instead of spending anything anymore, just so that way I can get caught up, because everything else is going to go back to the back of the loan. And, that'll come due in, 2037 or something. Maybe I'll be dead by then. Who knows?
Only if the lunch thing didn't work out.
Yeah, it's been interesting. I mean, it does run, like I said, but it just won't stay running because it's not getting gas up to the carburetor, And like I said, when I had the tapping noise, well, that kind of concerned me. So what I did was I actually took the oil and poured it down each one of the push rods along the side, to see if it would actually reprime the lifters. So there was more than enough oil going down there that it would actually sit in the gullies and overlap the lifters,
Dave is not sensitive. He's just like me.
No, not easy peasy. I've been buying things that I've wanted, like stuff for the car and everything else. So now, like I said, I got, what is it? It has to be, my mortgage payment's got to be paid on the 15th of January. So I get 2 more checks coming before I have to pay it. I think it is, yeah. No, one more. Is it? What is today? Today no, the 15th will be another one. And the 30th will be another one. So it'll be, I think I have like 3 more coming. So, I want to put that money off to the side because I'm a divorced guy. I got to pay my mortgage, man. I can't sit there and screw around anymore. Plus I have, the 2016 Jeep, that I have to pay $455 a month on, and then insurance, and then, cell phone and food, electricity, that kind of stuff. And it's at the point right now where I can't even afford health insurance. But the state won't help me out because, they figure I make too much money because of the mortgage, you know? So,
Hey.
so what I do is I put everything like I have now and just put it off to the side so that way I have something to fall back on, for when we're off during the Christmas, this Christmas season. Because I can't even collect unemployment, during that time because when they had COVID, they gave us $10,000, in a stretch from like January, not January, March 16th to August. Okay. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they passed this law that the schools have to make good on the contracts, with the privatized companies, so that we were supposed to get all this back pay. We never got anywhere near that kind of money. Now, unemployment wants us to pay it back, but they want so much money that I can't afford it. They want over $239 a month from me, and I'm like, I don't have it. And I'm not going to default on my mortgage or my truck payment, which is, keeping a roof over my head and helping me get from point A to point B, for my job. And the same thing with the cell phone. You have to have a cell phone because you have to contact the parents. Nobody is up at the hour that I drive. My boss isn't even up yet at that hour. She's sleeping. When I'm driving at 5:30, I'm not going to the job. I'm in the job at 5:30. So, and she don't get there till probably about 6 or 6:30, which is another hour's sleep. And we don't get benefits. We don't get benefits because, this is like one of those companies that's like third world country, respect for your employees, The only thing you get is a paycheck. She used to give out a Christmas bonus at the end of the year. She don't even do that anymore. We get nothing. And she's got the nerve to sit there and talk about, people being family because one of the employees died during COVID. And she sat there and, oh, it's nice that we have a family, this, that, the other thing. But she don't know what the hell family is because she never, um,
Taylor, thank you, Bob. You're about to have a son any day now, aren't you?
yeah, well, I mean, the thing is too, is like, I can't afford it every month. I don't have any other kind of income coming in, And like I said, I had a heart attack. I got a stent in my arteries. I have arthritis in my right foot, and I have lower back issues. They said I was diabetic. They put me on diabetes medication. It made me deathly ill. I was literally bedridden. I couldn't get up. And then I stopped taking the diabetes medication, and I started, feeling fine. And that's how I know for a fact that I'm not diabetic. I'm actually hyperglycemic. I know what the reactions are to somebody who's diabetic and somebody who's hyperglycemic. They're pretty much the same. The principles are the same, but the outcome is different. Whereas, a diabetic, if their sugar spikes over 500, they need to be in a hospital. Okay. With somebody who's hyperglycemic, it's not that kind of a situation. Your sugar is never going to spike that high. It may get lowered, but that's because your body produces more than enough insulin than it does blood sugar. So in order to level that out, I always have candy in my car, like, Jolly Ranchers or something like that, in case I get the shakes or I don't feel good or whatever, and that's what levels me off.
Dave, we're trying to pick a movie. Can you recommend one?
Yeah, I just rented it happen one night.
Well, you see what I'm talking about. That movie is one of her favorites.
What are the odds?
Go figure.
Yeah, see, that's not cool. That's not cool. I don't like that. You know, I mean, you know, me, I don't work like a full 12-hour shift or whatever, but I start at 5:30. I get done at 8 or 9 o'clock, something like that. And I go back out at 11 and I'm driving until like 4:30, 5 o'clock at night, you know, because I have a midday run and then I have an afternoon run. So it's like my midday runs into my afternoon, and the afternoon is far enough away where it's like an hour down to this kid's place, and then it's an hour back to my home, you know. So I put over 200 and something miles on the vehicle that I have every day of the week, you know. Okay, let's put these back in here. Being that I have this, I didn't realize I still had the box.
Day one of those He-Man goes to the John and shoots 9-pound ham out his butt, then he can talk.
Ooh, I didn't realize we've been on here that long. You guys want to get going, or are you okay to hang, or what? What's going on? Because if you want to get going, I don't want to hold anybody up, you know. People got other things to do. I appreciate everybody coming in here. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. I'm not going anywhere.
Like to have someone be a part of you and suddenly be separated from
Out of one of those relationships.
You say.
Really? Love hurts.
So y'all let me know, because I don't know if there's anybody else that's going to be doing live. Usually we get somebody on Saturday and somebody on Sunday. That's why I miss it. So I figured, you know, it gives me something to do instead of sitting around here like a bump on a log. But, you know, I mean, if you guys got other things to do, I don't want to hold you up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. All right, folks. I guess I'll let you go. And you know, I'm not gonna do it as often like I did today, but you know, and what was it, yesterday or Friday? What are you saying good luck to? Unfinished. Wendy? Wendy?
Play a little game, just you.
All right, so I'll put this back in here. Everything is back in this one here, including the oil pan gasket.
Bill? Bill, okay.
No problem, Bubba. Not a problem at all. I figured, you know, I figured we'd probably have a couple people that just were probably bored, you know, and maybe, you know, wanted to hang out and chat for a while. That's pretty much all I do. I mean, you know, I don't do a DD Speed Shop, you know, thing, because I can't figure out how to get it on the TV. I'm not going to sit there and looking at the screen and drinking a soda in front of you and just talking about this, that, the other thing, you know.
3 months. Now the wedding shower, I bring all these guys over to watch football.
That happened.
And you didn't like it.
Okay, so, all right, folks. Thank you for stopping by. And, you know, we'll see you in the next one. I guess I'm going to start having a look at some of your videos and stuff, and you know, I'll leave a comment down below and stuff like that. And if I haven't subscribed to you, I will. Okay. Later, everybody. Have a good evening. Be safe and have a good work week. Bye now.
Go to that great job, watch football, drink beer, and race his car on the weekends.